Hello, gentlemen. Jeff Sanchez, children's rights advocate here again. For over 50 years, I have been told by many people, like Dr. Ron Goldman, that I should be very polite and respectful when I talk to female psychopaths. That I should somehow come down to their immature, insecure, defensive level and try to make a deal with them. Well, I'm not about to do that. I don't make deals with the most cunning slave traders ever known. I put them directly in prison. That would be like going to a female prison and trying to make a deal with other female psychopaths who know how to protect their female infants but want you to believe that they have mysteriously forgotten how to protect their male infants. This can be most easily proven. First, in the Victorian era, Dr. Kellogg advocated carbolic acid for females. But females decided that was not a good idea for their daughters, so they protected them from it. Then, with the MGM bill, with the Dorothy Rubert had to take male infants off it for it to pass. This doesn't require a rocket scientist or brain surgeon to understand. You don't have to read between the lines. It could not be any more clear. If hormonally imbalanced, callously narcissistic, hypocritic controlling little girls of childbearing years wanted to protect their male infants, their actions would be to protect them the way they protect their female infants. At the present time, we have thousands of activists protesting the hospitals, blaming them and the doctors for this premeditated child abuse, doing everything but addressing the issue, and asking themselves, who signs the paper to violate their defense of male infants without their consent? Who benefits from this perversion? Who could stop it with the blink of an eye if they thought of their sons as fellow human beings? Who controls the churches? Who controls the schools? Who controls the government? Who has a worldwide monopoly of opinion? Who knows how to protect their female infants but pretends not to know how to protect their male infants? It's their mothers. Why do they do this? Because it's the only way a smaller, weaker, less intelligent gender can gain psychological control over a bigger, stronger, more intelligent gender. It's all about control. It's also the only way females can bond together at the expense of males. Let's look at this more closely. No other mother, ever, at any time, anywhere, at any place, not even a black widow, appoints herself God and eternally violates her male infant. I recently spoke to a little girl who told me she was going to mutilate her male infant in 2 weeks. After I explained to her the eternal psychological torture she intended to condemn her defenseless male infant to, she told me, and I quote, "He's my chattel property. I brought him into this world, and I can do whatever I want to him with him. I can sexually mutilate him, I can physically abuse him, or I can just simply abort him, because I'm a gynocentric female goddess, and there are no real men out there to stand up for him. So I have a blank check to treat him any way I want to, like one of my dollies when I was a little girl. And I can tell them wonderful things, like, what's so special about you? You're just like all the other defenseless male infants who have been mutilated. Just get over it. I've seen it all. There's nothing left to the imagination." Quite effectively crushing their spirit, subjecting them to the very most severe form of psychological torture ever known, sexual identity. The lifelong humiliation this causes is the very most persistent of all emotions. In time, we forget the feelings of passion, the faces of people we've loved. We laugh at old angers and rage. Time even heals the memory of physical pain. But old humiliations stay with us for life. They wake us out of our deepest sleep and flush our face with shame and anger, even when we're alone. Humiliation is so powerful, it can make us wish for our own annihilation. Our very ego shrinks and wills itself for the moment no longer to exist. It is an important fact to remember that no matter what the reason, the humiliation stays for life. Until we see this utter disdain for human life, we will have absolutely no chance of standing together as men to protect our male infants. This is not an accident. This is premeditated child abuse based solely on gender, a term referred to often by females as sexism. As adult human beings, we have a moral obligation to eradicate this most pernicious form of psychological torture. Every adult is responsible for the health and worldview of every child. That means you. Stand with me at magnanimosity.org. Take care.